Rare images of the Old West. Negotiation without a store. As towns in the Old West began to emerge and land was settled, trade developed in quite improvised ways. In the beginning, there was no proper infrastructure to support formal trade, and entrepreneurs had to be inventive. One notable example is the blacksmith of the region, who worked without a conventional workshop. A rare image shows Olive Ann Oatman. When she was 14, she and her sister were captured by a Native American tribe in Arizona and sold to another tribe called the Mojave. Her sister died of starvation after a few years with the Mojave tribe. 5 years later, Olive managed to escape. The tattoos on her face were placed by the Mojave to ensure she would have a good death. The image depicts a scene at the Land Registry Office in 1889. At that time, many pioneers of the Old West faced long, crowded lines when trying to register their land lots. Annie Oakley was one of the most famous shooters of the Old West, gaining notoriety for her exceptional skills with firearms. She gained fame at 15 due to her precision and skill in shooting. Since she was 8, Oakley had been hunting and shooting to support her family after her father's death, showing her talent and determination from a young age. The California Gold Rush began in 1848, bringing a significant demographic change to the region. Initially, there were few women in California, but the gold rush attracted many to the area. The women in the photo participated in the rush, with many bringing their husbands to seek gold. If they couldn't come with their families, they either had to mine gold alone or engage in activities like cooking, housekeeping, washing clothes, and dancing. Image of Rose Dunn, known as Cimarron. Born in 1878, she became famous for her association with George Bitter Creek Newcomb, a notorious outlaw wanted dead or alive. Despite her youth, Cimarron became an iconic figure, tied to the adventurous and dangerous life of the Old West. Arrival of the railroad. Before this, transportation was slow and difficult, with stages and horses dominating movement. The railroad brought speed and efficiency, easing the transport of people and goods and boosting the economic development of the region. The construction of railroads involved great effort and transformed small communities into dynamic urban centers. It also helped integrate the Old West with the rest of the United States, promoting economic growth and cultural diversification. This image of Billy Brooks illustrates a typical gunfighter from the 1870s. Brooks had a varied life, serving as a lawman in Newton and Ellsworth, Kansas, and a gunfighter in Dodge City. His life ended tragically in 1874 when he was hanged for horse theft. Buffalo hunting. The hunters stood out for their large-caliber Sharps rifles instead of the pistols used by cowboys, and they wore deer hides rather than typical cowboy attire. This photo, taken in a Denver studio in 1868, shows a hunter posing with his Sharps rifle, possibly before heading out to the plains. The Texas Rangers are perhaps the most famous lawmen of the West. After the Civil War, their primary adversaries were the Comanches, not bandits. Photographs of the Rangers before 1860 are rare. Old West scouts, like Buffalo Bill Cody and Yellowstone Kelly, were notable figures of the time. Buffalo Bill debuted on stage with Scouts of the Prairie in 1872. John Powell's Saloon. This photo, dated from the 1910s, shows several men and a dog named Peggy at John Powell's Saloon, located in Plainfield, Illinois. Equity Bar. This 1907 image shows cowboys enjoying drinks at the Equity Bar in Old Tascosa, Texas. The image captures a typical social moment of the cowboys at the time. Jackson's Bar. At the end of the 19th century, a customer is seen holding a rifle outside Jackson's Bar in Idaho. The image illustrates the common practice of carrying weapons at the time and reflects the rustic environment and personal security that characterized life in the West. Ned Christie, a Cherokee outlaw, was more known for bootlegging whiskey and stealing horses than for bank and train robberies. Ned Christie was killed in 1887 during an ambush by authorities after being unjustly accused of killing a federal deputy.